What is up, my Lorcana Goons? You're watching the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin, and we're going to talk about some Lorcana stuff today. So let's check out some new cards that have been revealed in the last 24 hours or so since our last video, shall we? Before I get started, I want to say remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and join our Discord. All of our Discord Goons have been sharing all these cards with us and discussing whether or not they're good, so I put the updated link in the description below. So check us out. Be sure to leave some comments on what you think of these cards that we're revealing today. Let's get on into this, though. We have a couple cards to go over, with the first one being Raya. This is going to be a Ruby card. It's a 3 ink inkable. It has 2 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 1, and it's going to have an ability called Note to Self, Don't Die. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. She can't quest for the rest of this turn. So this is kind of like a rapid fire kind of effect, right? So you can play Raya, and if you're able to challenge with her the next turn, depending on how many characters you banish, you can keep challenging other characters. So that's kind of cool. You can combo off Raya with something that gives her more strength, to be able to clear some characters. In general, though, because it does have 2 strength and 3 willpower, this can potentially clear 3/1/1 type characters like Lilo, right? So if your opponent hypothetically has 3 Lilos quested, and you have a Raya that's able to challenge, then you can challenge all 3 Lilos. So it's okay. It's not the craziest card. It is a common, but this does look like a decent card maybe in a draft pool. I'm not sure if it's going to see any competitive Ruby meta play, but it is pretty cool. We have the flavor text here that says 2 parts bravery, 1 part cleverness, and a whole lot of determination. So that's pretty cool. I haven't seen the Raya movie, which is I think The Last Dragon or something like that. I do need to watch to catch up with some of this lore. But it is cool that we're getting more Raya cards. And this card is a princess too, so it does have princess synergy. But we will go on to the next card because we have a sleepy boy. We have Donald Duck Sleepwalker. This is pretty cool. This is a reference to multiple times, I guess, that Scrooge McDuck and like Donald Duck falls asleep in the Disney universe. I saw somebody share something from like the 60s or 70s. That was some artwork from an original sleepwalking Donald Duck comic. So that's kind of cool. I like seeing the OG Disney references. But we have Donald Duck here. It's a 3 ink inkable with 0 strength, 5 willpower though, and he has an ability called Startled Awake. Whenever you play an action, this character gains +2 strength this turn. The flavor text reading, headed toward a rude awakening. So as you can see, Donald Duck's about to step on the horn. He's about to honk. He's about to wake up, right? Now, overall, this is probably not going to be the most meta impactful card. I feel like cards right now that generate you value when you play actions aren't necessarily the strongest, and not because that concept isn't strong, but because most of the card value you get from these type of cards don't really give you pluses. It's normally stuff that's going to give you like an advantage on the field already, like gaining or losing strength, for example. There needs to be some cards in Emerald that say they draw you cards every time you play an action, but only gaining 2 strength for the turn being when you play an action isn't the strongest in my opinion. If it would have stacked and said you gain 2 strength permanently, this card would be a big threat, right? But unfortunately it's not. So it's probably going to be more of a draft pool with decent stats to be questing under, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be a card that's going to be used in the metagame. But cool nonetheless, a sleepwalking Donald Duck. But we will go on to the next card because this card might actually see some meta play. This is Mother Gothal, Withered and Wicked. So this is pretty cool. This is a 2 ink inkable character. It has 3 strength and 4 willpower. Now you're probably wondering, why does a 2 ink character have such crazy stats? That's because her ability is What Have You Done? This character enters play with 3 damage already on it. Very thematically on point because it comes in damaged, and you can play Rapunzel to heal Mother Gothel back all the way up to 4 health, and you would draw 3 cards, right? So if you play Mother Gothel on turn 2, and you can keep Mother Gothel alive until turn 4, you can curve into a Rapunzel gifted with healing. Your Mother Gothel will be all the way back up to 4 willpower, and you will technically draw 3 cards. So there is some thematic synergy and then some extra in-game synergy, right? Because you can play this in a Ruby Amber style deck. Now, what's cool about Mother Gothel is that she quote-unquote punches above her weight class. So this is is basically referencing the fact that her stats are very strong for a 2-drop. Kind of like Phil, it comes out as a 2/3/1, but the biggest difference is that Mother Gothel can generate more value than Phil if you start healing Mother Gothel, and if you start taking advantage of the fact that it can have 4 willpower for a 2-ink character. Now, I don't know how much application this is going to have in the metagame. This could be either very good depending on what other cards we get, because this also does combo off with Dinner Bell. Dinner Bell being a card that lets you draw cards when you send one of your damaged characters to the discard pile. You would draw cards equal to the amount of damage that was on that character that was banished. So if you play Dinner Bell and then later on in the game you play a Mother Gothel, it comes out with 3 damage already. You can immediately use your Dinner Bell, pay that extra ink, and you draw 3 cards because Mother Gothel had 3 damage on it when it came into play. So that is some pretty cool synergy with the new Ruby cards that we're getting. I like it. I think it has a lot of potential. Ruby in general needed some draw power. Dinner Bell is a very strong card for draw power, and comboing it off with cards like Mother Gothel that already come into play damage is going to be very strong as well. So very interesting card. I'm curious to know if there's any other combos that are going to be played with this. It is a villain, so it does have that synergy. I would love to play this next to Rapunzel so we can really get some movie themed plays going on. And I'm pretty sure leagues are going to reward people for playing thematically, right? Because I know they already give extra points for certain things like playing 7 dwarves or playing a certain amount of princesses, etc, etc. Our next card here is going to be one of many songs that were revealed overnight. We have Teeth and Ambition. So this is a reference to Be Prepared. This is one of the lyrics from Be Prepared. And if you didn't know, we're basically going to be getting multiple song cards per songs in Disney. We kind of got confirmation on this with Grab Your Swords, because Grab Your Swords is a lyric from the song, and it's not the actual name of the song that Gaston sings in that part of the movie, right? So Teeth and Ambition, same thing. It is a lyric from Be Prepared, but it has an ability. So let's go ahead and check this out. It's a 2-inkable song action, and it says deal 2 damage to chosen character of yours to deal 2 damage to another chosen character. So we're going off that damage synergy. We have an ability to deal 2 damage to our own character if we want to heal it back up with a Rapunzel, like I said, or use something like Dinner Bell. And then on top of that, it'll deal 2 damage to another character. So for whatever reason, if you want to deal 2 damage to another one of your characters, you can do that as well. But ideally, you obviously want to deal 2 damage to one of your own and then one of your opponents, right? Mainly because you will be able to generate some type of value by using cards like Dinner Bell or Rapunzel, etc., by dealing 2 damage on your own character. Pretty cool card. I like that it's an early game damage dealer for Ruby. It lets you not have to play early game characters, and you can maybe play early game action cards instead to kind of control the game. So that's pretty cool. Overall, seems like it might actually see some meta play because it is an inkable song, and dealing 2 damage has seen a lot of use case in chapter 1 with cards like Fire the Cannon. So we need more cards like Fire the Cannons in other colors. So giving Ruby a Fire the Cannon style card with a type of stipulation that also synergizes with the Ruby cards is pretty neat and seems pretty powerful. I definitely think this will be seen in the future of Lorcana. Now our next song is going to be Go the Distance, another Ruby song, a 2-inkable Ruby song again, neat. And it has an ability that says ready chosen damage character of yours, they can't quest for the rest of the turn, and you draw a card. So kind of similar to Fan the Flames or LeFou, where you can ready one of your characters, but they can't quest for the rest of the turn. The biggest issue with this card, though, is that you can only ready one of your damaged characters. We were just talking about Teeth and Ambitions and how you can damage one of your own characters with it. You might be able to get some synergy here by readying one of your chosen damaged characters to draw an extra card. Doesn't seem like it's anything too powerful, because that stipulation for needing it to be a damaged character to ready is pretty specific, right? And we already use cards like LeFou and Shield of Virtue to be able to ready our characters. So it doesn't seem like anything too important outside of it being a psalm that you can sing because it is a 2-ink, or that you draw a card. Would I play 4 of these in my current Ruby, in most of my Ruby decks? Not today, unfortunately. Maybe we'll see some better use case for this though, because it is an action card, and we have seen that Ruby is generating some extra abilities by using action cards, and it's a low ink action card too, so you can kind of stack them, right? So that is very interesting, but is it super meta impactful? Not right now in my opinion. But we do have another Ruby song. This is our 3rd Ruby song revealed. We have You Can Fly, You Can Fly, You Can Fly. So that's pretty cool. Super excited for this one, mainly because I'm a big Peter Pan fan, right? I had to rewatch the little scene with the song in the movie right now because I just started getting waves of nostalgia as soon as I saw this artwork. So this artwork is pretty dope, and let's check if this effect is kind of dope, right? So we have a 2-ink inkable action song again, and it says chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. That's kind of neat, right? Evasive literally giving characters the ability to fly, which is kind of nice, but I don't think it's going to be super meta impactful. I can't really think of any scenarios where I want to give my characters evasive just for one turn. You know, maybe making this a higher ink cost and making it multiple turns would have made it a little stronger, but only doing it for one turn just seems kind of lackluster. I don't know. I feel like Lorcana is a very slow game right now, and there's not a lot of cards that net you a lot of card advantage. So wasting a whole card just to give one of my characters, sorry, it doesn't have to be your characters, you can pick an opposing character. So wasting a whole card just to give a character evasive seems like not the best use for my ink, right? Especially if I'm using 2 ink and I'm using a whole card in my hand. What is neat though is that you can give any character evasive until the start of your next turn. So realistically, you can give your opponent's character evasive. So if your opponent has a character with bodyguard and they're protecting a Lilo, for example, with their Simba, you can fly, you can give their Simba evasive, and now because the Simba has evasive, it needs to be challenged with only an evasive character, so you can challenge the Lilo. So that is some pretty cool use cases with You Can Fly. You don't have to give your character evasive. You can also give your opponent's character evasive if you want to play around their bodyguard stuff, right? However, outside of that, it might not be a card that sees a lot of play just because it is very situational, right? So kind of does remind me of Tinkerbell Most Helpful, but without the body, right? Pretty cool, pretty cool. But we will go on to our next one. We have Painting the Roses Red. This is an amber card. It's a 2-ink inkable song, and we have an effect that reads up to 2 chosen characters get -1 strength this turn, and you draw a card. Not bad, not bad. Not the best either though. At the end of the day, if you only have one character or if it's only one of your characters, you can just pay 2 ink to draw a card. It's not the best card in my opinion. It does seem like it is going comboing off with some of that amber mid-range support. We've seen cards like Maximus have abilities like this that lower the opponent's strength. So Painting the Roses Red going off of that. Another low cost inkable song. Where do you think we're going with all these low cost inkable songs, guys? I'm hoping that this does have some type of synergy in some type of deck. Artwork is amazing, and overall I think Amber usually gets some of the best cards. I do like that Ruby, Amber, and Sapphire so far have all gotten little draw cards. So little bits of draw power coming into all the colors. That's always nice. But overall, Painting the Roses Red, not the best song in my opinion. Doesn't seem like it's gonna have any use case in competitive play, and if you are going to use it in a match, it feels like you're not going to be using this until after at least turns 4 and 5, in which you really have to gain some type of board control, right? But here we go, going on to this next song. We have Let the Storm Rage On. This is a steel card. It's a 3-ink uninkable that reads deal 2 damage to chosen character, draw a card. So another card that we're getting in chapter 2 that has a somewhat of a subtle ability with the extra ability at the end that says draw a card. That's kind of nice. I'm really glad to see colors getting draw ability in Lorcana. Hopefully this means that a lot of players can start throwing these into their decks so that they don't have to invest in some of the more expensive draw power cards that we have right now, like Rapunzel or Surfer Stitch. But this is pretty cool. Another card that is going off of another song, Let It Go, obviously. Let It Go is a Sapphire card right now, but we actually got the second part of Let It Go as a steel version. Let the Storm Rage On. The Cold Never Bothered Me Anyway would be a really cool part 3 to this. But it goes to show Lorcana is going to be able to make multiple cards from just one song, which is always really cool. But yeah, Let the Storm Rage On with some amazing artwork. Love to see it. Frozen being probably in like my top 10 favorite Disney movies. So this scene is very iconic in the movie. So seeing it portrayed in Lorcana is always really nice. But I am looking forward to see what other songs we get from Let It Go, or what other cards we get from the Let It Go song. Overall, we will have to wait and see if this card is going to be good or not in the metagame. You guys let me know. But I'm always going to appreciate cards that let you draw cards in Lorcana right now. I feel feel like we should not underestimate any card that lets you draw cards in Lorcana, right? And we have everybody's favorite song. This is a song that I for sure have been waiting for. We have With All the Strength of a Raging Fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Woo! Let's go, guys. We got our Mulan Song. We finally have Strength of a Raging Fire, a reference to I'll Make a Man Out of You, an iconic song that everybody loves from the Mulan movies. And this song in this game is actually kind of good, which is pretty cool. We have a 3-ink inkable Strength of a Raging Fire action song, and it has an ability that reads, deal damage to chosen character equal to the number of characters you have in play. So this can potentially deal an infinite amount of damage, right? If you have 20 characters on play, I can sing this song and I can deal 20 damage to one character. The odds of you having 20 characters on the field are not going to happen though, obviously. But in Lorcana, there is no limit to how many characters you can have on the field. So I've had games where I'm playing with Amber Steel and I have Rockstar Stitch, and my Rockstar Stitch has been letting me draw cards because I've been summoning 5 to 7 1-ink characters, right? So if I have a Rockstar Stitch and 7 1-ink characters, I can play Strength of a Raging Fire and I can deal 8 damage to one character. That is really strong in my opinion, because it almost acts as a pseudo Dragon Fire depending on what you're using it on. You can definitely eliminate some cards with one blast if you end up having enough characters on your field, which is pretty cool, because again, like I said, this can potentially clear any character in the game, just so long as you have that many characters on the field. Very high potential with this card. This is probably a card that will see meta play. I do think that overall Steel needs some stronger versions of removal. It does have, you know, Smash, Tinkerbell, Fire the Cannons, but a lot of those only deal up to 2 to 3 damage max. The damage output you can generate from Strength of a Raging Fire is potentially going to change the meta and sway the game, because like I said, this can hit for so much power. But the huge drawback is if you have no characters on the field, you just can't play I mean, you can play this card, but you'll deal 0 damage. So it is a card that does require you to have characters on the board. But what's cool about Lorcana is that sometimes you can just spam characters, right? So very high potential card in my opinion. Very excited to see the future of this song as well, to see what else we will get in Lorcana, and I'm honestly really excited to see what the other cards in Chapter 2 are going to be doing. It also does have a flavor text that says, tranquil as a forest, but on fire within. That is it for the songs, and we'll go on to one last card that was revealed today. We have Radigans Marvelous Trap. So this is going to be a 3-ink uninkable card. It's an item, and it says, banish this item. Each opponent loses 2 lore. A flavor text reading, simple in purpose, elaborate in execution, just like Radigan. So let's look at this card. Is this gonna be good? In my opinion, nothing too crazy. Making each opponent lose 2 lore seems like it's decent in multiplayer. However, in a competitive game, if I'm grinding my opponent out, I don't think I need to use this item. The fact that you have to banish it means you're only using it 1 time. So you're basically paying 3 ink to lower 2 lore from your opponent. It just doesn't seem very good. I would much rather play back-to-back Aladdin Street Rat, or I would much rather play just Ursula on turn 7. For a 3 ink that lowers 2 lore, that is a pretty hefty ability in my opinion. You're only paying 3 ink, I guess, to ditch 2 lore from your opponent, and there are cards that synergize with it, but it's too gimmicky for it to be anything real in my opinion. I don't ever see a scenario where you making your opponent minus 2 lore is going to win you that game. It just seems like a card that might be delaying the inevitable, you know. If you're wasting 3 ink to make your opponent lose 2 lore, I feel like there's other cards you could be paying better for 3 ink, right? So nothing too crazy in my opinion. Not my favorite card that we've got revealed, but like we always say, some cards have to be bad in order for some cards to have to be good. It just is what it is. But let me know your opinions on Radigan's Marvelous Trap and any of these other songs that we saw today, along with any other cards we saw today, guys. I really want to hear what you guys think these cards are going to do in Chapter 2 when it hits the shelves and when it hits tournament play. And we forgot to go over Flyn Rider, everybody. This is the new Floatborn that was revealed. It's going to be a 4 ink uninkable with 2 strength, 3 willpower, and and 4 lore shards on it, which is kind of crazy. But read his ability. There's a stipulation. It says this character gets -1 lore for each card in your opponent's hand. So it does have that discard synergy where the less cards your opponent has in their hand, the more lore this guy is going to have. It is a shift character, so you can play it on turn 2 on top of your new turn 1 Flyn Rider, or if you want to shift it later on from your 2 ink Flyn Rider, you can do that as well. And it also has evasive, so this guy is going to be sticking on the board for a little while unless your opponent has some immediate removal for it. This card seems pretty nice, just like off the first read, right? It doesn't seem like it's too powerful because your opponent has to have no cards in their hand. So it seems a little bit win more because if your opponent has no cards in their hand, aren't you already winning the game, right? But overall, it seems like a very powerful card if you can pull it off. But if you can't pull it off, then either way, it's a shift Flynn with evasive. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is that there is a potential scenario where this card doesn't quest for anything ever because your opponent can just keep cards in their hand or keep drawing cards, right? One of the cool interactions, though, is that we saw the new queen disguised as a beggar. Her ability lets you gain lore based off of the lore from a character you discard. So if you discard this Flynn with that queen the beggar, you will gain 4 lore, which is kind of wild because you don't have to play Flynn, right? You could just keep it in your hand. And this is what I was saying yesterday. If you have 4 lore characters in your hand, you can utilize Queen disguised as a beggar in order to gain those 4 lore without needing to even quest with those characters. So pretty cool interaction. Seems like a card that is a bit win more, but only the metagame in chapter 2 will be able to tell us whether or not this is good. So I'm really curious to know what you guys think. And there was even more cards revealed while I was making this video, so be sure to go check that out. I think they revealed all the cards from the starter deck, so check out Lorcana Goons on all the platforms so you can see some posts from there, but we're already talking about it in the Discord, guys. Overall, I think some of the reveals we've had in the last couple of days are pretty powerful, while some can be a little lackluster. But I am looking forward to seeing the card pool in Lorcana change, because I am definitely tired of seeing Amber Steel mirror matches and Ruby Amethyst mirror matches. I can already tell that a lot of these cards are going to be making big waves on how we look and play Lorcana, right? So until next time, this has been Lorcana Goons. My name is Kevin. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like Lorcana content, because it motivates me a lot to make more Lorcana content. So please leave some likes, comments, and check out our Discord as well. We got a lot of goons in there. If you're a fellow Lorcana goon, you will appreciate being in there. So with that being said, you goons enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you guys next time.